This is what grocery shopping looks like for most Americans.
I have a master's degree, yet I can barely afford to pay my rent. And on top of that, I can barely afford to buy groceries. The only way that I'm able to buy groceries is if I use Afterpay, which is every single time.
I just want to say that it's wild that as a two-income household, my husband and I have come to the realization we can't afford groceries right now. Like, just straight up can't afford groceries, because if we buy groceries, then we either won't be able to pay our rent or our electric bill, because both of those come out of this pay cycle and they will take the entire pay cycle. We have two incomes and we cannot afford to eat, and we don't even have kids.
Why can I not afford groceries? Why? And it's not just me, yo. It's not just me. It's half of this world. Half of this freaking world cannot afford groceries, cannot afford rent, cannot afford health insurance, cannot afford to freaking live or survive.
Damn! 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 Damn!
This is what grocery shopping looks like for rich influencers.
Why buy nachos for $1 when you can go to Erewhon and make them yourself at home for $1,000?
Let's go to the richest grocery store in Los Angeles, Erewhon. There is nothing more that people in Los Angeles love more than an overpriced grocery store or an overpriced coffee shop. So I'm gonna take you to Erewhon. I'm gonna show you the prices of every single thing I can get so you can gag yourself, but the food is so delish. Their produce is out of this world in pricing, but it's also so yummy. Like, it is the best produce ever. $9 blueberries, give them to me. $13 pre-cut cucumbers, give them to me. Okay, now I'm gonna go check out. I got one basket full of stuff. I did end up go back and impulsively buy this water bottle. They got me, it was $42, but it was so cute. I got 2 bags of groceries. So these 2 bags costed me $229.
On today's episode of How Much Did I Just Spend at Erewhon for dinner? And I'm gonna let you guys guess. I won't say the price until the end. Beet salad. We got a little combo plate. Chicken, Brussels sprouts, and cauliflower. Buffalo cauliflower. Buffalo cauliflower Erewhon is the best thing ever. A little broccoli to try for tomorrow for lunch. A water. It's just water. Okay, so now let me tell you how much everything was. This water was $25. I just drank like $3 worth of water. My buffalo broccoli for tomorrow was $19. My beet and arugula salad was $9 and combo plate was $22. The total for my dinner and my lunch tomorrow came to $75.
While you're scraping by to keep a roof over your head and pay for your basic necessities, influencers are out here shamelessly flexing their exorbitant grocery purchases from Erewhon, a luxury grocery store, just to remind you that they're rich and you're poor. They're spending $80 on a single lunch, $38 on maple syrup, $23 on yogurt, $40 on hot sauce, $25 for a 64-ounce bottle of water, $30 for balls of ice, and there's also their famous $20 smoothies.
Come with me to Erewhon to make bad financial decisions because they just released more new smoothies. I just spent $40 on 2 smoothies.
Here's an influencer who spotted 2 people with a bevy of smoothies and posted it on TikTok with the caption, "Goals," and "Do it for the content," with, of course, "Rich Girl" by Gwen Stefani as the background music. And this influencer spent $1,000 on ingredients from Erewhon for an ice cream sundae. Let's discuss the latest out-of-touch brain-rot influencer trend, Erewhon hauls. Erewhon Market is a high-end organic supermarket chain in Los Angeles that's referred to by many as the most expensive grocery store in the world.
I'm headed into the most expensive grocery store in the world, Erewhon.
Come with us to the most expensive grocery store in the world.
We're going in. We're trying the Hailey Bieber smoothie first.
I have to take my husband to Erewhon.
I've heard this place is very expensive.
We're at the Erewhon in Calabasas, so of course, it's giving luxury. It's giving Kardashian.
The grocery store chain opened up in the 1960s and now has 10 stores all located across Los Angeles. The name Erewhon is an anagram of the word nowhere and is inspired by the satirical novel by Samuel Butler. Erewhon was founded by Michio and Aveline Kushi, a Japanese couple who were, according to Erewhon's website, quote, leaders pioneers of the natural foods movement in the 1960s. Until recently, few people who lived outside of California were familiar with Erewhon, but a series of collaborations with influencers and celebrities on elaborate $20 smoothies infused with ingredients like hyaluronic acid, collagen, and sea moss has catapulted Erewhon into viral fame. Celebrities like Kendall Jenner, Hailey Bieber, and Sabrina Carpenter have all released their very own smoothies in collaboration with Erewhon. Erewhon's Instagram page boasts their high-profile celebrity clientele, with celebrities like Kim Kardashian, Sophia Richie, and Gisele Bündchen posing for photo ops at the supermarket chain. Hell, even Barbara Cochran from Shark Tank is out here doing Erewhon hauls. And countless celebrities have been spotted grocery shopping at Erewhon locations across Los Angeles. As celebrities launched Erewhon smoothie collabs, it quickly became a trend for the general public to flock to these locations to try their smoothies. Erewhon is known for its exclusive, high-end organic products, elaborate deli counter, and premium price cafe offerings. Think Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop, but in grocery store form. A lot of Erewhon's products are super gimmicky, like their raw animal-based smoothie, which contains cow organs like uncooked liver, heart, pancreas, and kidney, and spleen that once belonged to a cow. Absolutely disgusting. And while I do like to eat healthy, I do so on a budget, and I'm not spending exorbitant amounts of money on my food. I do not feel the need to get on the internet and brag to you that I just spent $25 on a bottle of water, because it's distasteful. It's not very demure, not very mindful. Erewhon continues to attract attention, not just for its products, but for the staggering prices associated with them. And influencers across social media are sharing Erewhon hauls where a basic smoothie runs you $20, and a simple grocery store trip can easily run you hundreds and even thousands of dollars.
Tell me why I spent $525 at Erewhon. All right, you guys, we have another Erewhon haul.
We spent over $200 on these smoothies, and we are going to try them out. So they better be good.
Here are some of the most expensive things I found at Erewhon. I saw $43 syrup, $20 milk, $26 water, a jar of chili for $31, $41 honey, and I also found garlic for $43, ice balls for $30, yogurt for $24, and an Erewhon tote bag for $135.
According to the USDA, the average monthly grocery budget for a family of 4 on a moderate plan is approximately $1,252. But these influencers are spending this amount in 1 to 2 grocery store trips to Erewhon.
Let's make the most Erewhon ice cream sundae to exist. Let's go shopping. So we go to Erewhon and get some keto vegan donuts, some chlorophyll, some chaga, some hasho wu, some lion's mane, some chlorella, some heirloom cacao, some sea moss gel berry flavored plant collagen, spirulina greens, some cacao nibs. Next, I grabbed some organic sprouted almond flour, some vanilla bean paste, some good as gold turmeric powder, some chocolate, and I meet the cutest people.
Big fans of yours. Love your $200 peanut butter and jelly.
Back to shopping, and I get some salted caramel sprouted almond butter, some tahini, a couple kinds of honey because we're fancy like that, and then the water, if you know you know, some spoon junkie. I get some virgin coconut oil, then I get some good olive oil and some holly scoops. If you know you know, I grab all of these flavors. It's bomb. Then I get some sprouted seed butter cups, French squirrel stuffed dates, they're so good, some keto whipped cream, and then natural and organic sprinkles and caviar. And lastly, I get some Smart Sweets candy to put on top of my ice cream. I check out, and I can't wait to show you the delicious ice cream sundae I make with this.
Influencers could be using their platforms where they have hundreds of thousands, millions of followers to advocate for access to healthy foods for all people. But they're not trying to do that, because I've said this before on this channel. There is an inherent power dynamic with an influencer. In order for them to influence you, they need to have the power, and you need to be the influenced person that does not have the power. So they use these hauls to basically laugh in your face like, I'm rich and you're poor, and if you want to be like me, you need to shop like me. Instead of advocating for accessible healthy foods, they instead use their platforms to wealth signal. Baking YouTuber Rosanna Pansino made a video a couple of months ago where she made 3 lemon cakes using ingredients from Erewhon, Dollar Tree, and Target to find out which one tasted the best. So you would probably guess that she bought the same products from each grocery store so that it was actually a fair and equal comparison, right? Wrong. She only bought this many products for the Dollar Tree cake, this many products for the Target cake, and this many products for the Erewhon cake. Class, which one of these cakes do you think is probably gonna come out better, given the amount of ingredients used in each cake? I mean, from the presentation alone, Which one of these cakes do you think is going to taste better? At the end of the video, obviously, the Erewhon cake came out the best, and her friends were gushing about how they can't wait to go to Erewhon. I couldn't help but think when watching this video, who is this for? What is the point? Because it does not take a rocket scientist to understand that if you buy more and higher quality ingredients on one cake versus another cake, the one with the higher quality ingredients is probably going to taste better. I mean, she didn't even buy eggs for the Dollar Tree cake. Of course, if you make one cake with eggs and another cake without eggs, they're not gonna taste even nearly the same. So what exactly is the takeaway supposed to be? Go out and shop at Erewhon if you wanna make a higher quality cake. Her followers probably don't have Erewhon money. Once these influencers get larger and they accumulate more wealth, they become more and more out of touch with the general public. After all, food is political. Who has access to what food determines your quality of life. And under capitalism, having access to healthy food is a luxury. Most Americans are focused on just buying the cheapest foods. While you can purchase organic food and more affordable items from local farmers markets, Walmart, Target, Aldi, Trader Joe's, which although they might have a limited supply of organic food in comparison, they're still far cheaper than shopping at Erewhon. Even a more expensive grocery store like Whole Foods is even significantly cheaper than Erewhon. But if you live in a food desert, you're not gonna have access to these kinds of groceries. In many urban and rural areas, low-income communities often face what's known as food deserts, which are regions where there's limited or no access to affordable and nutritious food. These areas contrast sharply with food oases, where there are abundance of fresh organic options, typically found in wealthier neighborhoods. In Los Angeles, where Erewhon is based, the situation is even more stark. The city has one of the highest rates of homelessness in the country, with over 60,000 people experiencing homelessness as of 2023. I mean, we all think of LA as being a really luxurious place that is filled with wealth, but the reality is that that wealth only sits in the hands of a concentrated few, and there is widespread poverty in Los Angeles. For many in Los Angeles and beyond, spending hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars on luxury groceries in just a couple of grocery store trips is not just unattainable, it's an insult to the harsh realities that they face daily. I know for me, growing up as a child of working class immigrants in New York City, I didn't live in a food desert, but I certainly didn't grow up eating high quality, luxury organic foods. I grew up eating Swiss rolls. I grew up eating honey buns. I grew up eating Tyson chicken nuggets, a GMO feast, but cheap above all. So people who live in food deserts, they don't have access to healthy eating. Another food that I grew up eating as a child was Lunchables. And it was recently reported that Lunchables were found to contain large amounts of lead. Think to yourself, who exactly is the target audience of Lunchables? Working class parents who don't have enough time to prepare healthy, well-balanced lunches for their children, so they buy this pre-packaged, processed meal to give to their children to go to school with, which leads to poor health outcomes. Meanwhile, the stay-at-home housewife can, in the middle of the day, go on an Erewhon trip and have the time and the resources to prepare a healthy, well-balanced, organic meal for her child. And they're probably going to excel in the school system as a result. Grocery stores like Erewhon purposely only open locations in wealthier areas because that's where their desired client base is. They're not opening an Erewhon in the hood. No, but they'll gladly build liquor stores and 7-Elevens in poor neighborhoods to keep them unhealthy. The disparity in food access is not accidental, but a result of urban planning, economic priorities, and a food industry that prioritizes profit over public health. So this level of wealth corn with a P is egregious. We all go to the grocery store to shop in private, but these influencers feel the need to tell you that they just spent $30 on a bag of ice because they're trying to show off their wealth to you. It's them telling you, I can afford this, knowing that you can't. The food is actually just a prop. What they're really saying is, I'm rich, bitch. In the age of Erewhon hauls, your access to luxury, calorie-restrictive foods signals your social status. During time periods like the European Middle Ages, Renaissance Europe, and the Victorian era, being thicker was a sign of wealth, and it is still the case in some other countries. A fuller figure was associated with wealth and abundance because being able to afford ample food and leading a lifestyle that limited physical labor were markers of high status. But in the age of social media and mass media at large, constantly proliferating diet culture down our throats, thinness has become associated not just with health, but also with beauty and wealth. This shift is largely due to the rising cost of healthy foods and the time and knowledge required to maintain a healthy diet, one that particularly promotes a thinner physique. Resources that are typically more available to the affluent, because the thinner you are, the more virtuous you are, the more wealthy you appear to be. For many of these Erewhon girlies, the only place that you're allowed to have fat is in your lips via lip filler. Let's talk more about the reality for many Americans. The housing crisis has left many Americans struggling to afford basic shelter, with rental prices and home prices skyrocketing to unaffordable levels in many parts of the country. Everyday essential items like gas and food and utilities have seen a sharp price increase, and that's made it increasingly difficult for Americans to keep up with the cost of living. According to Bankrate, the majority of US adults, 56%, couldn't afford to pay for an emergency expense of $1,000 or more, such as an emergency room visit or unexpected car repair. But there are Erewhon devotees who will defend this egregious display of wealth by saying things like,
well, if it's so expensive for you, then just don't shop there.
That's like saying,
if you can't afford a mansion, then just don't buy one.
Well, no Obviously, most people aren't going to go to a grocery store they can't afford. The reason that people are so annoyed by Erewhon hauls is because eating healthy should not be considered a luxury. And influencers need to stop shoving their obsession for this exorbitantly priced grocery store down our throats. And for the people who can't afford to shop at Erewhon, they're gonna try to shop there even though they can't afford it because they're trying to keep up with the Joneses, because influencers have made this lifestyle seem desirable, seem like a requirement for being morally virtuous or practicing self-love. So yes, people are gonna be a little bit annoyed by that, because it's dystopian to be paying $30 for frozen water, aka ice. So yes, we can choose not to shop there and criticize their insane prices all at once. In the food industry, profit maximization often takes precedence over public welfare. Highly processed, unhealthy foods are marketed aggressively because they're cheaper to produce and therefore have higher profit margins than fresh, nutritious foods. As the wealthy accumulate more and more resources, they also gain greater access to healthier foods, better healthcare, and more secure housing, all of which contribute to longer and healthier lives. But those at the bottom of the economic ladder face multiple barriers to health and financial stability. This disparity is not a byproduct of capitalism, it's a feature of it. So yes, promoting Erewhon hauls with all of these existing social factors is not just distasteful, it also highlights the stark contrast between the privileged few who can afford luxury goods and the vast majority of us who are struggling to meet our basic needs. This behavior really highlights the systemic inequities in our society, where wealth and access to health are increasingly concentrated in the hands of a few, and the rest of us, we're just left to navigate a landscape of economic instability and limited opportunities. And the food that we eat dictates our quality of life and our health. What I'm seeing with many of these influencers is that their desire to visit Erewhon comes from the fact that it is so expensive. Most people are repelled by grocery store prices being expensive, but many of these influencers have this deep curiosity, which comes from a deep yearning to want to have proximity to wealth and a proximity to power, because it makes them feel like they're living the lives of the rich. And if you have the disposable income to shop there, then go off, sis. But the fact that these influencers have absolutely no tact for the realities of most Americans shows how out of touch they are, shows how little they care for you. And this is why you need to de-influence your mind from all of these ridiculous displays of wealth. And I'll end by repeating myself in saying that I support healthy eating. If you're privileged enough to live in a climate or in a home that allows you to shop in your own backyard and grow your own vegetables and fruits, take full advantage of that. If you have the privilege to go to your local farmers markets where you can buy directly from farmers in your community, then by all means, do that. Take full advantage of that. Because at the end of the day, big food is poisoning us. And at some point, I am going to make a very detailed, deep dive video about how America keeps its citizens unhealthy. But when we recognize all of these social factors and we think about grocery stores like Erewhon who gatekeep health, it's sickening to think about. So while I wholeheartedly support healthy eating, I believe that healthy eating should be accessible to all people, not just in the hands of a concentrated few. And grocery stores like Erewhon might as well have a sign on the door saying "No poor people allowed." allowed because they're gatekeeping healthy living. So these influencers are, again, very out of touch with the realities of people who live in food deserts, of people who unfortunately have to eat foods that are not so healthy because that's all they can afford. Healthy food should not be a luxury. But I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you guys think about these Erewhon hauls? I would love to hear from you. And if you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. And if you really liked it and you want more content like this, definitely hit that subscribe button. And if you're interested in seeing what I'm doing outside of YouTube, you can follow me on my social media channels. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all next time.